Hello, agus fáilte of go gemma mór in SWPL I deachchan sa Glasgow City chud fáilte Rangers mar séas go raibh fáilte I fachcail chearst Rangers ag múlach líga drást Glasgow City I fiachan ris an tréa sin céad díog títal sré chéile a chumáladál. Fear lá fór I seo an Glasgow ach bí chés go leor as I game ha físacing I dhi sin go dú. Neach bhór I deachchan sa chearna seo gan bhealach atá sé go bhfuil Eileen Gleeson go deachí sé inimechuch mar ard chute úr Glasgow City. Che ag bhfuil eolas go leor, chéile ag bhfuil eolas go leor coloriúmsa I son I game ha seo. Pauline, just what will Eileen Gleeson bring to an already successful club?
I think for me, she'll bring fantastic both domestic and international experience. Obviously, she's been involved in the girls and women's game over in the Republic of Ireland for a long, long time now. And I think, you know, working with a mentor such as Vera Powell, who I see as probably one of the best female coaches and tacticians in the game worldwide, I think, you know, she'll have an abundance of knowledge and experience to share with the Glasgow City players here.
It's a team that has won those 14 titles in a row. What can she bring to maybe make that 15?
You know, like I say, Glasgow City are going through probably a little bit of a transition in terms of they've lost some experienced players and they've brought in a lot of new players from various parts of Europe and the world. So I think, you know, ensuring that the team dynamic is correct as it always has been previously is really, really important, and getting your team over the line and showing that consistency from week to week, and I'm sure she'll be able to do that.
Well, we'll hear more from Eileen Gleeson at half-time, but that doesn't take away from today's huge game, first v third, Rangers in pole position.
Yeah, they absolutely are, and I think, you know, what the coaching staff would have said to these Rangers players today is use that kind of disappointment and frustration from last year. They've had a fantastic start to the season. The momentum is all in their favour, and today it's about showing that they can perform under pressure.
These games were huge last season. How do you think today's going to go?
How do I think it's going to go? It's a tight one to call. I think it could potentially be a cagey affair, but you know, whoever kind of wins the most individual battles across the pitch and really stands up and is counted for their respective teams, I think we'll have a big telling on the end result today.
Thank you, Pauline. Spísin an clein sin barach for Pauline tronna game ach mar a huirsin ha jolas go leor ag dá manager iad cúsin go bhí go matchán dú cholmi bhuape picant na parhaia. Okay, Grant, the big news this week has obviously been the appointment of Eileen Gleeson. What do you do to make sure she's got Glasgow City in the best position when she comes in next month?
I think just continuing what we've been doing. You know, the group's been working fine. The squad have listened and applied things that I've asked them to do. There's a good backroom staff here, so you know, we've worked towards a seamless change, or as seamless as we can, and it's all positive going forward.
As things stand, it's first v third, but it's two teams challenging for that title. What do you do to make sure you can claw some of those points back?
Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, it's you know, one game at a time. We're looking to take the 3 points today. You know, anything less on our part will be disappointing. But we've got to be realistic. It's a good side we're playing against, so it'll take everything we've got to compete and ultimately get the 3 points if we can.
Malky, big game today. These games, in a way, determined what happened last season. Just how big is this game today for you?
Well, I think we're looking forward to it first and foremost, you know. I think we're always looking for challenges, and certainly we've had challenges from the start of the season. So we'll just see this game as another challenge on the road to hopefully getting success.
You're unbeaten so far. What do you have to do to keep that run going?
I think we've just got to keep the momentum going, the belief in our style of play and how we play, both in possession and out of possession. I think we've scored a number of goals today, as I've said in the press before. And again, we'll go about it the exact same fashion. We'll look to break them down, look to exploit them in certain areas, and then hopefully we can convert the chances into goals.
What do you see as the biggest threat from the Glasgow City side today?
I think their biggest threat is the depth in their club. You know, they're champions, reigning champions. They've won it for a number of years now, so they've got that confidence behind them, which takes a number of years. But again, you know, Rangers were a new club. Last year was our first season professional. This is our second year, and I think the girls have really came on leaps and bounds for last year. Learned a lot of lessons last year, and that standing is a good stead for this game tonight.
Gemme mór geríú nach Gemme Gera stocha mar a HQ is a league ag chean hall va 8 pungin idir Glasgow City Rangers the season a high a chunnig sin an nóir sin tíro choturh sa bhaid is ré at the chief Dillon City Pomal adol. Rangers ac mwlwch y league y season sy'n gan gema chael schanel cish giriad gemen yn leid sio ieres cad yn jeich y chichtol. Na skipian y tînia mach gila y sio ag Peters Hill ach chachwyd sy'n sian y greg eith na skipian sy'n Grant Scott y da arach y gohorst id skipa y reina chwys id Hearts gac yn ioni y gori yma dech gan y chai. Alexander eithon y push. Mullen Walsh Clark is Foley ag y hwl. Farrelly is Lovely Lauder begin in the Bielu. Davidson is Chinchilla like Colville ag y bwlwch I hyn y synt Glasgow City. Rangers i the llawn neile hw gadsen droniw egelwch de bonin eich operein bych yn siachla och nioni efo sy'n Malky Thompson diolch yn un arach I enw the skipper sy'n 5 either na push like Doherty Van Swabbies McLaughlin ag y chwl Mittag Cornet Israeli Savian Arnold's he le Jane Ross y tingisdach is in Keila McCoy. Iddo feingi Clachers ha Clachers, Mishi, Fulton, Fullertudlu, Agatha Philippa, Dodds is Noble X City, le Rangers, le Cunningham, Ness, McCoy, McLean, McCleary, Westrop, Agus Watson, Maronian, again, Malky Thompson Maheson, it's on that arach Grant Scott, the Chiaunele, a dochis skipper Glasgow City, he can bar a Jew. Rachel Lorraine Watson, Yolas Board Eichgeshe, if Gachire, Geminin Moore, either Viech in a Champions League and ban either season. I guess a thirst Taiki in a lineation. Elliot husband is Alistair Grieve, a die of a line. Neskipping a Giano Jeshal, a ball, a changing Machgamian Parke, had the 410 a Kumal Bla, Rutavis, Carter of Stoche, it la, Grot Grante, a show at Peters Hill, ach, Happis, Marahors. Make Mulloch Cushion could be Chase Gillior as a game has shot. Daskip a Gamayoloch in a Hela Clicketerin, a Hakamayoloch in a Hela Tunya, but Gach Tuvid Gloset, Irash Agus Erers, Eter a Daskip a Marshin, Hishin, Ko Hikenbar, a Gihan Hall. Sulin, a Hulitinia Havur, and a Silbal Caution of Halapa in the game I show. Fuse Alfredo Morelos if Chin Shears a shock of Peter Self. Who's going to be guessing again? It's still a big and chase of Arach. As a law, Ferilla, Hayoloch, Gillior, if Jera, Geminin, Marshaw, has Scott Booth, Erash, Peters Hill. Chanel Driach shot Tillig, Aha, Uivoreke, she was Kuhn Cushion, Gusne, Cave Tichtel and Giaction, a horse Gusre. Ach, ha, Neskipian, Giano Jeshal, had Jeshal Gustosha, I guess, Gemme, a Yeras, mar horse me stoche, KJ Chichtel, and SWPL, draw Yirigava. A daskipper could take Krishna Himmerston and now Grand Kinney and a Balkoshe, I guess a look take a show like Peters Hill, could take Krishna Himmerston shin. Kirsten Riley Maha, a could in game a show, Ida Casson, Glasgow City, Clyde, Vo Jace, Vo Clee, Jace, as the Lainton Purpiaka, I guess. Glasgow City as na Lainton Orange, Erivel, Chin Yoloch. Glasgow City, Trocolville, Suisafake, Vance Gachodamach. Pauline, it's not a great day for a game of football, but I'm sure that won't bother either side.
No, it definitely won't. You know, being from Scotland, we're used to this. Maybe not quite as early as October, but hey. But yeah, hopefully it doesn't pick up much more, and like you say, it doesn't spoil this fantastic head-to-head fixture this afternoon.
How important just is today in the grand scale of this SWPL season?
You know, I think obviously with the increase to 10 teams and teams only now playing each other twice, you know, the enormity of these head-to-head fixtures are crucially important because they don't have that third round of fixtures to try and make points back up.
Haley Lauder connection big and shin I see Gavi in Yola say Gavi Gamak Kutramach Mian Cushion to Glasgow City. Joe Love Bolan Valadash Shin Che Illa Ekavel Yola Skillior as a game I guess he Fiaching Risha in Yolas. sin a thorsca bull agus is skip éige a chomáil a dal. Glasgow City leis a bhall trá ach chaneala a teanú mór an this dhéis leis Foley leis a satal isteach. Idár a fáca chaneal cusróin in éige ach cí an hall isteach. Jane Ross is sin ga chud arás agus is scuúla go ball tarsing ga scuúla parsing ach Tinchia léim isteach a gutse ball i gutse bhuipa sé tá Rangers i cíarí féteach i réiteire chadeach i féteach tá agus Jolov tíoch is sochgruchu cúsin ag a chúl in níos de Glasgow City. Scuúla a ball amach chuna chearst. Megan Foley ga scópa go d'arst chaneal duine sin for Glasgow City agus a ball tíreach is strúg amach ceanna fáca. Jenna Fife maha Gurich amach chuna leine chúl. Rangers i fiachanrí cleich trona leine in seo. Chanealat is on a ball chud art fat a naine gaia ach sé sin aha. Fife i tiano he ga búna chu ach in oor sin Jane Ross ga lícal i fallavarí is chaneal skippe seach skippe is soch grú seo. Pauline, neither side's really settling into this yet.
No, they haven't, and I think, you know, for me it's probably to do with the dimensions of the pitch. Glasgow City returning here from Broadwood, which was a much bigger pitch, and obviously Rangers playing at the Rangers training centre. So just now, you know, when they have that possession, the press comes upon them far more quickly than maybe on a pitch that of greater dimensions. So yeah, taking a little while for both teams to settle today.
Tinchia a gutse ball and me in a package in Chavisha Toliche Gajach is scoop again fall of like Claire Walsh agus nach Glasgow City come grain in the valve ach Rangers if fiaching maru horse me cleich suas a fag Gajach leg ta Lauren Davidson ga chaul tuv hjast ta he iniste me in a packet erst go Arnott Ishe, fiaching, ballisteach, Jane Ross is a vian, Faturi Ikan, Ike, Riley, Stachane Voxe, ach, Hajach Ike, and the ball of the Shach, Ishe, Ikeri, Preposhan, ach, Elis Rachere, Ka Horst, the Glasgow City. Cross in from Lizzie Arnott there. Jane Ross would hope to get on the end of that.
Yeah, it was a great bit of play and very similar to the pick-up of Brogan Hill last week in the game and through ball to Lizzie Arnott. But yeah, like you say, just nobody able to get on the end of that early delivery from Lizzie Arnott.
Alexander Itter na pushed the Glasgow City Jolas Vorich Gische ga scoop gemach Art Riley Hajachike in the ball League agus an ocean imach idiot for Walsh. Grant Scott Ferraha. Givi Fakal Driaka Toshahuk. Well, Nisht Jehan Bickenis Mias Ekesen Akal as a Driaka. Basin Edochas na 3 pingen Ainga Shaw. Gus a skipper Eka Akal as a Seiki Shara Siringa. McLaughlin Kata Bowlerst. Jane Ross. Riley Ga Aing. Stachane Voxe, Upper Savalu for Lee Alexander, Irashe the Cassin, Agus, Eva Kutu Ishin, Kuchok, Jenna Clark, Torch Taik to Lee Alexander, Alexander Ishin, Upper Savalu Skunyal, Agus, Haniel Kish, Givelli, the skipper, Humal as a game show. Great save here from Lee Alexander. Yeah,
it's absolutely fantastic. Just point blank. She stays big and does a fantastic job for her team and prevents a 1-0 this early on.
Ballis Jachman, Vreposh and Chinchia Kaing Oravox is Jay in the scoop of Le Kiaun. Ach, Hajach Le Chinchia in the ball of Humal. Nicola Doherty in Nish Lish Satal Isjach. Nicola Doherty ga Hatal Isjach the Rangers. She captain Ju Westrup in the Vainge. Safalaga Vashin for Liag Alexander Hashinkaiking Adias Ball Scunnel is Jack for Riley. I guess Cornet Leishaner Alexander is Shisudish. I guess Gajera Shiva Makilior Yolas Vaike. I guess Klaki Gilioria because Shin Havalig Rangers Stoche Tamalchach. Oh. Junsi Hruga Shin Tivhalna Parke. Junsi Hruga Shin Davidson in the horse. I guess Glasgow City Idiot Fia Henry Cushion a Hochgrich. Not a great challenge this.
Nah, it's just a little bit late there, isn't it? And obviously the free kicks being given.
Clark Mahaka Scully Tarsing Molen Gaing is Chas Jarst ach Idiot a ball is Jack for Glasgow City Joch in a cowl Pat na Húne is Walsh ga scoper gemach Cushion gemach simply le Walsh shit. McLaughlin is Jack. A ball Idiot guitar Glasgow City Colville le Jana Oper Scannel Shin Jolov ga scoper get Falov agus Haley Lauder a great is J a Vala Shin ach big and kus in the Val big and kusushke stoche in the Farke gus Cushion Shin Haley Lauder. She's going to be so important today. Yeah,
she absolutely is, and I think the Glasgow City do well to kind of manoeuvre the ball out the press there, but that final ball through by Farley to Lauder is just a little bit overhit, and you know, like we seen in last week's game, Haley's goal and the space that she found was the goal that kind of put the game to bed for Glasgow City against Hearts. Such a creative player.
Cushion Geochasoch Grahug at a fang a ball a rash for Ornan Parke. Rangers mar sacking as na Lynchen Puffy. A ball is Jachanisht. Riley, I guess, Lauder, Sapa to the Hon, Lauder, Gavona, who's Jaku Chinchea, Norshin, Gascopig, is Jach, Throw Viana Farke, and Mach Honikanile, Farivel Megan Foley, Gain, Gascopig, Suez, Ach, a Mach, Id Ora Farke. Havishin, a court, the Grant Scott, if we faking, Hot Lish Saha. Glasgow City, if we cowl the Val, Huluturis had the doll, it Hoshach Marshaw, Nicola Doherty, Captain Rangers Nish, Lishaval, Gachadishjach. Nikon Valle, Ule, Le Yolis Galfisake, Givel a game, Hokutramach, Shin, Haley Lauder, Ishikabuanahig, and Nish, Glasgow City, a fine, Kuguna Gerichere, Puchtig as a cool Shin, I guess. A Rachel Jew, Lorraine Watson, Genviach, Scaniel for Lauder Shin, a Kuguna Rachel for Watson, Hashin a faking Girach, a Lavere Clachgig, Gus Gian Homal, a Reval, Hashin a faking in Ishmaha, Haley Lauder, Jano Jishal, Baulas Jach, Chien. Ball art. Is Jack the me on the Farke. Chinchia Shin Shuiska Iaching. Farley Kamalishka Gaiaching in the tail. Happy Ichi Magiri who would so a great ball in here. Farley up for it, but just nodded away.
Yeah, I think, you know, it's fantastic delivery, good pace by Haley Lauder on the ball, and yet to be fair, I think, you know, the Rangers defender Mark in there actually does enough just to put Farley off there and prevent the ball from maybe going on target.
Haley Lauder Irish like Corum it ball Chodishjach Vanoshan Iduris ball R Stele Kuna Foster Cool Jenna Clark it Puchtigishin Shin Efakal nach Jack Kugunig Irate Le Rangers like big and Shin a ball R this Jack van Evre Boshan Ikke Foster Cool ha Clark Suez ach Hyde Puchtig Dream Click the Rangers I guess Shin Efakal get the ball it scoop it fall off Ranger Nish Le Cheval it Mach Kunnen Tev voor Ross Riley le Pican Cormachin Ball Ille Chodesja Agus Apet Eunsi Scaniel Avashin Mullen Slide Gestjachin Happy who the suig me get val agus mar sin san neiche sé a ha ball gus satellesteach vi Rangers stoch géri go dé val chleiche steach nach be loie ach sit rééis láder a bóna hu ball in the north chinchilla fiachan ri ein ach McLaughlin garage ach Swabby ga ein agus asku Jenna 5 idir na push the Rangers Iaten fiachan is ball chomalse chleichichter is stoche na sasa gaivsin na ha Glasgow City Kuruka show Ballar sus go Jane Ross geta chanela faingeke chinchia ka chumalisteach agus sé Jane Ross a ha ga aingeke jaun hal bishe toliche de shin Hij tuned like dahurus in is baller aske McLaughlin in de boxe. Ga Jack lege ta Joe Love joge stjach roppe. I guess it's Jeno Kinchok nachro triple down gonna escape Eike. Joe Love there just on the edge of the box, doing what she's done for so long, just mopping up.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a great run into wide area, isn't it, by Jane Ross? And I'm not sure if she's maybe looked up there and just thought we don't have enough bodies in the box to cross that first time. But so many turnovers of possession in this game, isn't it?
Balaching isteach agus erash erish for Colville ach ha and Rachel I the nitach eike a heitig. Malky Thompson I fiachin de sé skippe ikke vrosnach I fiachin de sé etul vashin etul in de chud Lee Alexander stat na per haie ein Lauder erish geta steach leis val Cowan Rangers if Cowan Vala geta agus Jane Ross Joch ga scoopug suas chrotinje sin geta chroid dinje eiking agus Irash inish like Glasgow City Joe Love like ball is scunnial is Jack ach chanaiga shachat it line of Rangers Lauder of I Kulu Chechian sin ach chajach a ball Stach Davidson notion like oper scunnial id orifake faculty Rangers the kumal as a leachgasin in that to be fine corum id fine rash agus big fuch again. Jane Ross mata irash doing geary ball a fiskibi geary ball fatinesker hegeta the chanele fine Kuguna Gretchere McLaughlin Kachodistach Riley the Leakal Joe Love Ching Stach Shin Hishin Kajach Ishe Agus Riley Agorstach Joe Love Agus Riley the Leakal Shin Collis G Shachke Givelat Gemakors to say in Unchi Vashin Pauline Joe Love just slides in here but seems to have almost come off worse.
I think she slips. I don't think there's any malice in that, but she looks like she's the one that's potentially maybe come off worse there, which is not great to see.
As je feiking ballenstach Joe Love a shot. Hij fiachen in staat ach dioche gloon dolfoch busje. Yeah, not looking great for the Glasgow City captain at the moment.
No, it's definitely not. She's not a player that, you know, goes down and stays down, and she looks like she's in a lot of distress at the moment, which is extremely unfortunate for both herself and Glasgow City.
Rachel mar ha I ddíise gevel karst vi seocha Lani seiche se mar ise go hultinne grese gulich ha seo de Joe Love sinne feiking na chalie géri chabor a karst vi sinne feiking Love the kassen ach dúli seo eiking. As in a cleansing Joe Love, Tira hot dully Saha cushion, Shin Haro, Rowan Yilla Ekerator. No other decision there for the referee, but a difficult situation for everyone.
Yeah, it definitely is, and we kind of said that, you know, it's a very, very wet, kind of slippy surface there, and as Joe's just expressed, you know, she's apologising for being late, but she's just unfortunately lost her footing. But yeah, disappointing moment for both Glasgow City and Joe Love.
Agus gafar leis gal mo holo shoes doch a droch chaint is sin agus na cleiche er in de chin far a farke. Docherty ma ha ek a hol lika leis a bal a rollamach. Lika leis a bal a rollamach agus Glasgow City kiu a fiaching ri arach a giano.
It looks like Maddie Fulton will replace Joe Love now.
Sin ceart Fulton a chin is anáte Joe Love ba folliseach a nule nachrá chom go bhí a club sian a bharach a chléich as a game a seo ha fés go bí a thuútaine seo Peter Hill agus is sepéin go héad agad a dochas nach elcúsin rágúlachte Joe Love ach Maddie Fulton a chin agus broken móra eichise bí líananig a seo a dú. Davidson in this shears the Glasgow City chanel cúsin íchad a dal loa is na coi cymynachin meirig ball diolch a tógal suas a stiacha ydyn agus sé gyma crwy a sin gajera. Manager na halapa a seo a cétid cúsin a dú seo far a fel a fór chud gana cleichid ar a stéitje an halapa cleich agus ha fiscal Pedro Martinez losa como sul guia a game a seo ach chanel sian if noch go ga haast a hef na tuil. Ball ar ers ma ha chin chia a géri fein ike ach chará cus ag swabí riano ball sin I riist roch rui stoch an nuske I the farke I riist I kielge kelle a ball a ri na slóie. Jane Ross matak a bhórnach go mian na park a McLaughlin fiaching I nerv seo chumá the Rangers agus sin a réini héanist I the north. I riist tá chinchea seo trés stoch a ceru chom eiche sé chilige ras gan a léich go héin is a ball agus is skippe eiche chute chu láder in isiste gapúnach go mian na park she captain Glasgow City in isdach captain Rangers go ein I the tuh hall gan a farke Haley Lauder ach a riist a ball ras erst. Pauline, neither side's keeping hold of the ball.
No, they're not, and I think that's going to be one of the important things moving forward. I felt, maybe in the first kind of 10 to 15 minutes, Rangers had done better in terms of showing a little bit composure on the ball in transitional moments and being able to link. But yeah, it's become very kind of frantic again.
Frenesach Gajera. Ball isteach a riist Lauder and now Doherty ach Doherty a tíine báda sin ball amach ag Doherty a riist agus is satal isteach Dírach chavór ag léoch slí I the farke. Chanel cusróin neich gitá me girig hai ga ein isteach ach I riist in ball I the legal at fall Glasgow City ma ha. Leis a ball like a hole. Fiach Corman a lorach. Chinchia nes de túntag a ché garet a ball a dul amach. Molin in this leis satal isteach Lauder suas go Chinchilla ga chun idir na casannig McLaughlin agus Chinchilla is ball diolch dul ro lua ach Colville garad riist Glasgow City diolch fiaching ri cas ein as a game a seo chanel a tachirst gitá Nicola Doherty ga ein agus a ball I the goal amach I the farke skipper seach skipper channeal giniachcha I fáin chom deach a ball ein iddo lár agus ball cosach like. Is de da chapchen strí sin na chéile Malky Thompson I fiachanrí deach a skip ag fiprechu gus a ball chumal pick an na satche. Channeal a tachars gotá ball deach a léim ar asréirs dit da skippe agus sin ríist ha sin feich gin Colville a fiaching stocha ag godúad he Cass Rangers sin mar sin chanringin if I cúsroch roiad Colville ach ríiste Erp gus feinge eerste dol en mis het Colville geta eerst fiaching Erp. De balleting is stach voor Glasgow City. Rash is stach kom in de park Chinchilla. Heide wie goma een gutje bal ach shin tjach lik al een bal of half voipe. Tjach Erp Scunjal shin. This Fulton's coming in to fill Joe Love's boots. What's she going to have to do in today's game?
I think for me the important thing is, you know, Jo Love always shows great discipline. You know, she has an understanding of when she can go and be an attacking option for the team, but a lot of the time she's just there to kind of protect that back line. So yeah, listen, Maddie Fulton has a lot of experience as well, and I'm sure she'll know exactly what her role is today with Glasgow City, but she's also got a very good shot on her, similarly to Jo Love as well, so can offer something definitely from distance.
Davids yn ffaing eisiau corymele y bal o sgwp ag ysdiach fan y fiars gan y parc ach y geichianele ha Jane Ross y gyd Jimmy yn y parc ach fa I hen chod doin y bal sy'n y gyd nach rod dynian fo Rangers sŵs na sarsyn y fa I hen ag ysdi'n y ffacol cael y bal y gol asg Glasgow City. Alexander Gwyddele ga sgwp ag arst. Channeal dunne shit for Glasgow City agus is tashin ash ag go húl le Jenna Fife. Rangers is ga cloi geskippelde snasal cool Elena ach Nicola Doherty ga chaul. A ball in eerst en oorschen gelorder I thought voxe ach Doherty na hey agus Doherty het jano huúsor sin a ball suas go Ross hai ga chumal isteach sin scunneal for Ross diolch a gal chom pican hochge gnjolas a heiche diolch a chlachge sin Riley suas a fark getá ise a feinike a ball a chumal isteach dit hef halle sin ball arst isteach ting fo Cass Glasgow City ach Lee Alexander is in Laven Savaltje eichgesche chunnig sin Jane Ross sin I cho kutramach mi an y park mar hoors mi njolas voor eichgesche agus ishe kuvi bring ag leunje mi eni vi chile rashe galope agus kuvi mar hai et chile kuchok squad alope is klinishin voor Jane Ross ag leunje. Glasgow City in ist Kuchenarach grut big fiachan ribig a chleich ag a húl ball a gal amach geta ith Jane Ross agus chadjach le itje daval a fark drast Féimesin jach féu gudjej cheach chud farna parke agus gudjej jacking ith Kuchen hosha ist Foley maha leis satalisteach Jo Love has sin faking le pick an J I the glún agus I héine dogus chanili son fall for orna park ganine drochíte ha son skipeiche fuchtige erst fuse for orvoxe. Quite scanial shin for Jane Ross a fine a ball a ting UNC a ting is shach for a coolu ach johaniolas mar a heiche kumal a ball I guess a fine karuna gerete ball of the scoop again is gemach go McLaughlin I guess Rangers kumal a ball hey ga the mash is mach is shin ball is jach ach Lee Alexander oorele Lame art agus a fáing a ball bo ceann Jane Ross agus a sin tíreach trúag for Glasgow City a thuirste ball at fallab uad ile. Faith amach go SWPL maha. Ishe le roinin go leor. Ball fate ach Alexander gan cúitim sa bíore ag go chúl. Cúitim in eistid mólan ball a trúag a bheith sin agus chagúni go ré ruta bead deach a ball a lígal isteach cornet fasci a cúlú agus I facal a ball ma plachan maha leis an chom pile I d'irste chud I dáit a Rangers ha fiaching stochar I Jane Ross a lorach Ross a hai a lorach Jeez me Michael Ross for Glasgow City a ha fáing a ball amach ach an nuair sin ha the horste fall of it riist Paul gata I the chud amach Riley a sin ga chud amach I or a farke agus a bónach go ball could start I the chorma version the Glasgow City. Foley maha isteach gaing ar ashenist ach ga horst it fallaverist Grant Scott brosna skippeke vi kom al val sinna chinchilla Giano Cleich scanja later I heen agus lauter SWPL aha gascopa get fallav Kirsty Howe with Sam Kerr at the side of the park. Such a big loss last year for Rangers.
Yeah, absolutely was, and devastating. You know, just having the experience to sign a professional contract for the first time, and then to have to deal with such a horrific injury. But promoter here, she's doing extremely well in terms of making her way back to full fitness, and should hopefully be available maybe later on this year, early next year. Yolishin
Maha, the lauder. Ach, a ball at erst in the legal mach ach Kirsten Riley Jano job of aye joch a legal leis ball at all mach a shaw ball at erst for lauder ach hajach like the ball ein a shin McLaughlin maha Molen garage for McLaughlin in the turfs again a farke Pleike va ach Doherty Kaguna Garage dal na huisje It's not the kind of possession Rangers would want to give away a free kick. No, it's definitely not, and it's just, you know, Nicola Doherty's, you know, tenacity and desire to defend the situation, but yeah, with somebody with Hayley Lauder's creativity and technical ability, it's not a great position to give away a free kick. And you know, this half I think probably Glasgow City have looked really dangerous, you know, from these kind of attacking set plays. Lauder Mahale, she got him. Ball isteach ach Faith go savallte I coolú díach isteach gonna garsten eich agus I go skippelte go scopa amach go hilligal amach go Doherty ach a ball at ers for Doherty big and cúsid agus ekki cheanile ha Alexander a fine Graham a bhalla sin. Maar if he kid tennis and draas the ball deoch adol o cean go ceanile na parke. Ball SWPL le ball scannial at erst go Ross oh van McLaughlin díoch a glach go coolú line Gianna sin chluiche va for Rangers fergin hiet chom na héad viachke a ball a chluich tro line in Glasgow City ach díoch a coolú line Gianna sin. SWPL mahaka bónachu as a nar ach a ríist úr éile balle d'irst ach balle cústró ate. Many chances for Glasgow City. Not many chances in front of goal, but they're getting forward and then just losing it on the edge of the box.
Yeah, I think, you know, for me, Rangers have definitely had more promising attacking play and combination play without maybe getting any clear-cut chances. But, you know, I think from Grant Scott's perspective, Glasgow City need to really try and get players like Hayley Lauder and Priscilla Chinchilla on the ball, because they're so creative, and once they start to run with the ball, it's so difficult, you know, to time that tackle, especially and given the conditions of today.
We've seen Chinchilla, her main thing so far has been winning the ball in her own half.
Yeah, absolutely. And what you might see is that she'll start to maybe drop a little bit deeper, because she'll definitely be getting frustrated, having those little touches on the ball as we're seeing just now.
Leher Irolach Maha Lee Alexander le Unig jaar gewoon leher eichgische shit. Een bal aardig het zo is gaat ik Lauder uit. Ballen aars voor Lauder. Gara sin ietsje vast in het heel voor Hayley Lauder. Lauder Maha face. She knew there the goalie would be off the line.
Yeah, she absolutely didn't. It's a great little knockdown to her by Maddie Fulton as well. And listen, she's got every right to try from there with her technical ability.
Jenna Fife Maha, Le Cheval, a Savox Eichke heen, go Swabby and Connie a fiach and he ball a giro for the rest, a Characorum Eichke shit. I guess Le Cheval lying at Ash for McLaughlin, Chinchilla, could big and Hudjamid. I guess Haika Hal, Molan the fine available Malky Thompson. I guess Chinchilla Hakaing Von Molan. Ach, it is a ball in the legal at Falov, like Glasgow City. Question but orre vaak J Han Rachel in 5 gingers in hij Rutgenike Gierig brep week in de kas. I guess Shinnegak Ro Rachel either Guguna Lorraine Watson Yolas Gilyor Eichkische. I guess ne kemen in Ashin and the Champions League and ban kemen in international. I guess get nach Rostoch Grant Scott kent gekleer Jolas Gilyor Eichkische wie vies Eichke gere server Vashin the Rangers Mahaka like is the dash gaan check leeg Jenna 5 machen de klee ballen there's the ballen is ja het heel getouched te Glasgow City big and sapper to the hon Kus really ek Megan Foley Riano either Janshin gonna far just Giroch is a ball the leak alamach I guess just Feuge horse gonna skip Alfredo Morelos come al Sulgi at haast it cushions if you can pick and fast geworden it or a farkation gaan je het Kus korm en eiking Jill genoeg korm en Saveluk Skenjal voor Alexander Traas a game a gevark de shin sam Gaun aan de kormen ma wie ach is Sapach voor shin Gratinje talletje maar Vans puchtig Colville shit really Rachel bit feisty here, Pauline.
Yeah, it definitely is, and to be honest, I think both players are at fault there, you know. So I think Malky's definitely not happy with that decision, and probably because he knows of the creativity, you know, both Chinchilla and Lauder who stand over the ball now have.
Big and J-Spit is a Lauder, I guess Chinchilla is J-Giro Hakavi. Ching a shot, Leisha serve rape, a ball is shot, Lauder Galikal, Chinchilla, a ball of Hooey. Grant Scott won't be happy with that.
No, definitely not. Disappointing end result there from Chinchilla, and I'm sure it's not what her intention was. She doesn't really catch it well at all, does she, in that situation?
Joe Love a shot, you know, is ne Shomrich and Jason clear shine quality haast chofolishach gevili haast chokorstisjay gaan je kalifang more an taik ichid o clear shine nach ha fiskeliet via gaan ik bekan faskegis bekan chase a loracas na shomri hin chesachi the la grota ha show an Glasgow Peters Hill ball isteach a shit for Glasgow City a chartinne fasked McLaughlin ek fosta hoel is mar sin va unique jaar eichkische a ball a score op fall of Mullen le big an kutjamore vakal kre satel isteach han a varach edition Chinchia maha riist kutjam in lane of hoel Rangers a had defying a ball and fall of oh Walsh Jano Skirnia le shin maar kutjam voorode voor Jane Ross ach JV de jaar Rainy Kiljoor gus a ball red agus Walsh fang a ball at Ash ball hek Glasgow City the scars come a Rainy shin and they click it there Bekan sochgrach get ching at Cushion a shot and Glasgow ball at Earth for Chickley Glasgow Lee Alexander a chatuad Hilly Loderike I guess a ball the score fall of a shit le Davidson Irish I guess Irish Nicola Doherty le Satalis Jack Puchtige shin it dream Jane Ross easy decision for the referee and a chance here for Rangers to have a set piece, not something they've had really in the first half.
No, it's definitely not, but I think one thing that we're seeing, Jane Ross's hold-up play is absolutely fantastic, hasn't it been this half? And, you know, Rangers are willing to, when they have possession, throw numbers forward, so that gives that kind of Glasgow City a bit of insecurity in the back line. Do they drop? If they drop, they leave the space in between the lines for players like Jane or Lizzie to pick up, and I think that, you know, the variation in their attacking play this half has been very good, but just obviously without a kind of final product.
Ball isteach maha Swabie le ciawn eddach dirach dolamach edor a farke chaduri ichid nevich Malky Thompson Geary edor a farke isen mi holiche le shin speed da manager hafis mi holiche le maraha hiedle in the vitol le mi anach trug ganien skriat da skippe a shar and alape a shin ach Ross edor a voxe ach Giro Gulavan Lee Alexander Gascopa get fall of agus passion faking gaiking it is Chavi the Gary Che Ila ach Jane Ross and I say you mar shot ach excellent chance there but she has to do better.
Yeah, definitely. She uses her body well to roll the defender there, but just maybe doesn't connect as well as she would have liked with the final effort on goal and Lee Alexander's position effectively, just to take that one neatly into her body.
Wouldn't have been great being Lee Alexander staring down the barrel of Jane Ross with the whole goal to shoot at.
No, I know.
Chinchia maha Kuchum 8th line of Hull Rangers I guess a ball amach Stach getha Jane Ross uedele she gevor hapona geval golle turres at also as a varke de Rangers had je een jolle zeg is a klicheke maar va Pauline gra jolles skanjeleke if Vitiano age Glasgow City mahal is a ball the dollar eerst Davidson in the div haalach it is maar hami that imitoch tourist as he le show koik minute in idakal as he le a Glasgow City likal fall of na the flying is jachane 3 migiri kan far ball is jachane vian maha Walsh mach gemollen Mullen could Chinchia Scunyal shit for Chinchia fine shachat McLaughlin ach McLaughlin flying at Ash McLaughlin flying at Ash because a ball of rich I guess Rangers in this let's call him a dollar erst I guess uedele marahalani sacking if Fiach and the Jane Ross eing is jach on a game Foley Mahalish Smala Gadash is Jach ach Fulton Jachachud Emach Edorfnef Orevarke Doherty Maha fiachan de cheval Hirimachuk. Pauline, Scott Booth's watching. What will he be thinking so far, 40 minutes into the game?
I think, you know, he'll probably be thinking that if he's agreeing with me that maybe Rangers have just edged this first half slightly in terms of, you know, their positivity and very proactive in their attacking play, willing to put numbers forward. But you know, from a Glasgow City perspective, they've stayed well organised. They've limited Rangers' chances, you know, direct chances. And I think probably Grant will be really happy that at this moment his team are still in the game, because any opportunities they have had has come from set plays. And Rangers, I would suggest, have dominated possession of the ball.
Hey, me in the park is in Jano Scunyal a ball. Eing Ash is she heen like fall of a ball smashing. So not a sheva Olach Eing Ash ach rainy shin. Ach riest a ball at also is Gully Alexander Hanel Kutchism Sibiora Unique Lorike Sula or Suicide Park faking Koa Halle Corum a ball line riest had the Fiachni Lauder a Lorak Tharsing Orishe Agashe Colville a hack ein. Ach riest a ball a fine good. Sheempley, good Jenna 5. Swabby Maha, ball at Girach, so as a Hargach. It is Walsh, it because stat with Rangers going at Ashkata. Ball at Girach, Riley Gayaching, Ed Mullen, fine Cassid. Ach, Ola Hore, a shot, a cool, I guess, Harroch, Coramela Eiche, Ach, nothing else she could do there but grow out.
No, definitely not. It's a fantastic diagonal by Demi Vance there, and the pressure's on Molan, the fullback, but I actually think she does very, very well in terms of reading of it and dealing with the situation.
Rangers a fine Cora, a Darna Corum, the Smalakis Jach. Jane Rossnish, as a Voxa. Ballas Jach, I guess Jean Fat, cool na Kosha is Shin Fakal, Kashin Fang, Preposhan. A goal now would be perfect for Rangers, probably.
Yeah, absolutely it would, you know, minutes before half time. But again, you see really good link-up play between Ross and Arnott, which is something that has really developed significantly since Jane's arrived at the club. So like you say, high pressure moment here for Glasgow City to try and defend effectively.
Ball at Girach is Jach. The scope of the fall of Colville or Voxa Gaakal Chinchia. It is the Shapad Sean Skipper Eiche. I guess a ball in the scope of Gamach a shin. McLaughlin, Licious Malakas Jach Maha. Minachidakal is a Heatley. Kayuku, Daikits Koik Minach Lauder, Jano Scunyal, Shin and Balogach, Chinchiaka, Huded Hoshach, Ach Demi Vance Girachle, Brock Eing Id, I guess Shinafakal Graunik, Feifa Ha, and Ache Colville of a Fiaching Streak as a fine either Hobose, J. Yaiche, I guess a Coramishin Dolkiart to Glasgow City with Ille. Salnachkas in a ha ball like a hool guitar. A Chinyamach, a Warwick ball at Erst, Ach Bamolin at Erst. I guess a ball at Chin Ilukulu. I guess a Shinafakal Graunik Rangers a ha with Ille. Lauder Yola Scanyalake Shin Ach Hashinafak Davinach Evarak Gavi Edachli Ek Jiri again. Jane Ross Garage. Jach Ishid. Rangers in this le Doherty a Dorafak Ishi Tuntag Rashka Rossley Rurstike. Hey Tuntag Tuntag Ishi Giri. I guess look type Rangers Giri Kuguna Garichera Hajachlea Ishi Hast. You can see here Pauline Hay goes down.
Yeah, she just takes a little bit of kick in the back of the kind of calf there from Maddie Fulton. Hopefully it's just an impact injury and something that she can kind of walk off or at least get herself in at half-time, and then they can look at the situation then as to whether or not she continues.
Sinna Viking Shaw, Fulton Chinishach, gotcha ball. We can see there, Paul,
Might be,
the ankle.
That the ankle got a little bit twisted as well there.
Look, Medicach Rangers, Giano Keenchach, Gavelli, Kjarskeljar, Hashin Stach, the Gunya Varog, Jirige, Hietleach, Kudishin, Risha, and Nunya Varok, hacking, and in Viking, the Orefarke, Rangers. Giano Jeshal Stoche, Bifemach, the Kutchigan Horsterschach, and Nache broken he, ach, le Hopik, Rikin, Rotle Unia. Have his gebied de vier fine as Jack as began Kugunigi Yano as Neshamrik and JC. Pauline, we're almost at half time. We see Malky Thompson chatting to the fourth official, but what will he say to his team once they get back inside?
You know, I think, you know, as I said earlier, I think he'll be the happier for the two. I think they've dominated possession of the ball. They've showed variation in their attacking play, and they've stretched this Glasgow City side on occasions without any real kind of final product. But I definitely think they can take confidence from that first half performance and look to continue to build on that. But as I mentioned earlier as well, I think Jane Ross, her link-up play today has been excellent, dropping in, holding up the play, linking the play, or just maintaining possession, and they'll want more of that from her second half.
En bal Rash, broken he, Rash, the Cassin, Agus the Nisht, Rash, the Fake. Glasgow City, Trochinchia, Fiaching, Corum, Magiri Gang, as he had lay a show, he had lay for Nahel Corum by the Viachke, Rohi had the Shiniano. Had still torch ball at Falav, Snorshin the torch, survey per Falav's Corum Sabia Vachke, either because the toy, draw lay Unia, had Gachal, McLachlan Maha, ball at Edurst, ball arst, cornet Viachani Angit, Akshay Molen, Iriest, Jaka could a mach id Ortna Parkes, Groinille Eichgach, Ek Aumashaw, Sheshar, Jaka, Humach Shimply. Roshin Shimply eater for Glasgow City, Gahul, Bala Shach for he, I guess it is Sonic Cornet of a Corum, Hajach Leg, a ball Jachadal Shachat. Great ball in here from Brogan Hay, Pauline.
Yeah, it definitely was, and just I think it was Lizzie Arnott that maybe just fails to be able to get a contact on it. Yep. Falls slightly behind her.
Gajera She, Arnott the Van, I guess Vigisha, Kayu, Giri, Vigiano Nashara Shin, Rangers Gata, Leisha Valley, Dorafake, Ach, Hanella to find Corum Ballach of this Jack, a reach it, the Heatley, a Horst, Gakian, Lay Ansnachro, Ach Jach, a Ne Corum, Corum of Ashin, a Cornet, Lee Alexander, the Savaluk Scunyal, of Ashaw, Lee Alexander, Ach. Maar hij saking beshin hier een Corum Vasile Njoni Ekle As he hier lea shin get nach el tul either vian hafi saking Gary Jane Ross either vi ha kutramach the skipper Rangers agus well haid Chile because Nyola say get horst on the squad so shin Corum fachgalang it or it hoshach in the game.
Yeah, obviously I was brought up with my grandpa and my dad both being massive Rangers supporters, so it was the club that I was brought up to support, and yeah, the jersey that I used to wear running around the back garden in the park as a kid, so I think for me it was always a dream to one day be able to play for the club. I think as a young girl, your dreams are, yeah, you don't really understand what isn't possible at that stage in your life. So for me, it was always something that, yeah, I just wanted to strive towards and wanted to achieve. And I think obviously the progression of the women's game in recent years is fantastic to see here in Scotland, and I think, yeah, for clubs to now becoming professional and for it to actually be an achievable goal and dream is, yeah, fantastic.
Bij Idash aan het dabile sigaie kan toerisme jeder gelijk Jane Ross de club aan een Alpe, agus hij het uit de smoorrichting aan een game ban van Ocean.
Definitely come on leaps and bounds. I think throughout the league, it's definitely becoming a lot more competitive. And as I've previously mentioned, like a lot of the clubs are now going to the professional and semi-professional setup, which is only going to benefit everyone in terms of being able to have access to better facilities, to have more support staff around players, and also to then have players focusing fully on football or on a part-time basis on just training and playing. Obviously spent a number of years with Glasgow City, and as much as the word professional is thrown around a lot in terms of obviously the facilities and resources available, but I think in terms of the setup that we had there at the time, it was a very professional setup, and the mindset of the players and the people there was very professional. And so, yeah, that obviously was instilled in me from a young age and was something that, has gone on to help me throughout my career.
Han klichterij tar eeuwige se driach. Hij het klich halse doing agus hij groen glabbichen hier in WSL aan de sassing kutjach.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I think every club that I've played for has been different setup, different group of people to work with, different philosophies and style of play. And I think just as a player and as a person, like, I think I've grown and taken a lot from every experience that I've had. I mean, for me, my time at Manchester United, obviously, a large part of the first season was spent in lockdown and dealing with the coronavirus situation. So I think getting back to football last year was first and foremost great for everyone involved, and to be able to get back to playing games in the league. And I think, it was an experience for me that has helped me grow and develop as a player and become, even more well-rounded.
Goed een klichter a ga je brei aan de ballen vaart, unie schacha tronaglassie kolde de chewel gaan een Alpe. Een ocean va je biachkig, het gloes het dat soes, gusbal kosje a klik, so do I show.
I mean, I was very fortunate that I managed to just get home to the island in the nick of time before the country went into lockdown. And I suppose a kind of silver lining to the whole situation for me was that I managed to get home and get to spend some quality time with my family, which hasn't happened in a long time. So, I mean, I suppose potentially that may have influenced my decision a little bit, but I think for me it just felt like the right move at the right time for me. And as I say, like, it was always a dream and an ambition of mine to play for Rangers. So when the opportunity arose, then it was something that I wanted to go into.
As Joey de Rangers Kirsty Howard de Kous en deze me jedig tronabie de garstige, waar het de Noorschen gaun ak mullig na parke. Ach had Jane het Shelting, geburgie vern Lianig.
Obviously, a part of my game as a 9 is to put the ball in the back of the net, but for me, I think I bring a lot more to the group, both on and off the pitch, than just scoring goals. And hopefully I can bring my experience to the team and to help us, win the games that are required to win in order to, hopefully finish as high up the table as we possibly can. I mean, we have a very talented group of players here, and everyone brings their own strengths to the group. As I say, like, I come in with a lot of experience, having played for a number of years, and so hopefully I can help others if required to throughout the season.
As Joey de Rangers boenigig jiedig een game en een skipje in een griechrig als er kuun en deze sakai. Weet de games het barach fuing in een hokal en een skipje ha striers on chichtele league.
I mean, it's the old cliche, but I think you have to take it one game at a time, especially in this league. And as I say, like, it's got more competitive throughout, regardless of it being top 3, top 4, top 5, whatever it is. Like, I think every game, every team is tactically aware of what they are required to do, and so that makes games competitive regardless. So I think, for me, it's only focusing on the next game and how we can get through that and get the 3 points, and then we'll turn to the next game after that. Obviously we want to try and win some trophies this season. I think playing for a club like Rangers, there comes that expectation that we want to have success. As I say, like, we will just be taking it one game at a time because it's a very long season, and I don't think we should get too far ahead of ourselves. So hopefully we can continue just the momentum that we've already begun to build, and yeah, go into those games with some confidence.
Horsich Jane lep brak sa hyd game yn y desan, nu de chudi ceir tail siachat in Hamilton.
Obviously, it's always enjoyable to be able to score goals and help the team to win the matches in whatever way that I can.
Heel Jane y ddasg galpa ac yn un am di a Chile gan sgypen arsynta, agos chwtio chi alpa ag tosig a himmers cwcwpen y crynia, as yet it gun game a chaw ag y show.
Yeah, definitely. It's always an honour to be selected to represent Scotland. And yeah, I think it was a positive camp, the last camp. It's obviously nice to have the new coach come in with just like a fresh philosophy and fresh way of playing and of working. And yeah, I think it's an exciting time ahead for the Scotland national team. We were disappointed with the last campaign, with how it ended, and obviously not qualifying for the Euros in England next year. I think as a group of players that was obviously our goal and our target and something we wanted to achieve. So I think whenever you don't manage to achieve that, it's obviously, yeah, disappointing, and takes some time to reflect and to look, yeah, at performances and look at ourselves as individuals. But obviously, yeah, as you say, like the new coach has come in, I think it's a fresh start for everyone, and yeah, we're obviously looking to do as well as we can in this campaign with some tough games ahead of us, but hopefully, yeah, we can finish and qualify.
Tronau maich gael Glasgow City, hwyl Jane barach na ceir tail don y clybau. Ac yn yw sy'n gyda'r un is as I cleiche yn yw siawn clybau, le lein y Rangers ora.
Obviously, Glasgow City are a top team, but I think the minute we cross that line and it becomes game time, then for me it's about focusing on, yeah, being the player that I am and what I can bring to the team. And it's about the football. Once you cross that line, obviously, as you say, I have to still have some friends in the Glasgow City team, and I'm obviously know a lot of the people that work there. But for me, yeah, once we cross that line, I'm representing Rangers Football Club, and I'm there to do, yeah, a job.
Jane Ross sin choras cíad game to Glasgow City, choras cíad game to Gallup. Pauline, Jane Ross has come back to Scotland. What does she bring to this Rangers squad?
I think for me, you know, Jane's probably one of the best professionals I've ever worked with and known in terms of both on and off of the pitch. I think, you know, her work ethic every day in training, I know, is absolutely exemplary, and it's fantastic for, you know, some of my young players from the under-17 squad to be in and around and see that. But I think also off the pitch, you know, Jane does everything correctly all of the time. And I know that, you know, as much as Rangers have went professional just doesn't mean finance, resource and opportunity. It also means individuals taking that accountability.
We saw last season Rangers challenging but not quite getting there. Is Jane Ross the experience that they lacked last year?
Yeah, I would agree. I think, you know, they were unfortunate in terms of the players that they lost to injury, and many of them were very experienced individuals as well. But yeah, she definitely brings that. She has the experience of playing at top sides. She understands the importance of managing games, seeing games out, knowing when to slow it down, knowing when to speed it up. And I think she's a wealth of experience that she can share with so many players at Rangers Football Club this year.
Well, Yola Sport, Chile, have face Kumal Sul in the game, Shaw, manager ur Glasgow City at the Hinyam Hu Tronchach, and Eileen Gleeson with Shinya Fakalora.
Eileen, how excited are you about being the new manager of Glasgow City?
Well, I'm super excited. You know, it's a great opportunity for me as a manager and as a coach. But it's, you know, really exciting to be joining a club such as Glasgow City. You know, so progressive, so ambitious, and you know, have demonstrated their capabilities on the pitch as well. So really exciting time for me.
What do you think you can bring to this team and add to what has already been achieved here?
Yeah, and I think the key word you've said there is add. Obviously, unrivaled success on the pitch. So I'm hopefully going to just try to, you know, gradually add to that. use my experience then, gain that international level as well, and a bit of my background then with the academic studies, and try to just integrate that into how we're already operating here at Glasgow City.
And is there a pressure to continue the success?
Yes, of course there's a pressure. I mean, there's an expectation that Glasgow City win. It is what Glasgow City are about, but while winning is super important and I'll be really ambitious about that, it's also important that we continue to reflect the values of Glasgow City, and I think that's really why Glasgow City have been successful, is that they are progressive, that they are ambitious, they refuse to stand still, always trying to add and continuously progress. So that's really what I'll be promoting as well.
Eileen Gleeson is in art coach ur Glasgow City. Pauline, just what will someone like Eileen Gleeson bring to this?
I think, for her, probably the kind of the early weeks will just be about getting to know and understand their players and the technical staff or the support staff that she's working with. But it's quite interesting to hear that she speaks about education and academic background, and that's a big part, the holistic approach, and I think something that probably all clubs across SWPL 1 will want to implement moving forward as well. So listen, I'm really excited to see how she kind of transitions in and what she can bring from her domestic and international experience to date.
We've seen quotes from Ireland after it was announced that she's one of the best football brains in the country and that they don't want to lose her. She's spoken about not wanting to leave Ireland either, but wanting to make that step up to being the manager over here at Glasgow City. It's more about evolution though than revolution, I'm sure.
Yeah, it definitely is, and for all coaches, obviously she was a head coach at Peamount and then has went into work obviously under Vera Powell as an assistant, and maybe she feels now the time is right for her to then take that step at a higher level club with real ambition and real desire to continue to push and progress the boundaries of girls' women's football here in Scotland.
Well, looking ahead to the second half here, we've got Rangers coming back out now. What will they be looking to do?
I think Malky Thompson will ask them for more of the same. I think they played with really good intensity, not just in possession but out of possession. I thought when they lost possession of the ball, there was a real desire in numbers to try and win it back as quickly as they possibly can. So I think they'll really want to try and put Glasgow City on the back foot and start with real intensity again this second half. And
we saw a great early save from Lee Alexander, but Glasgow City haven't had any chances of their own. How can they create? I think probably need to look to get their best players on the ball. Hayley Lauder, every time she touches the ball, she makes something happen for her team. I think she's so creative and finds great spaces to get on the ball as well. I think I'd like to see Priscilla Chinchilla more on the ball as well, but also when these players do get on the ball, see a willingness from the other midfielders or wide players to try and go beyond as well, because it looks kind of isolated in their attack at the moment. Rangers are out already trying to keep warm. Grant Scott, however, keeping his side in the warm as long as he can.
Yeah, well, different coaches have different approaches, but if it was me, I think I'd want my team out on the pitch first and really showing that they're raring to go and probably start the game similarly to the way that they ended that first half.
Hashin Viking Ishin Joe Love Chiing Irashimach call the skip at Glasgow City Gloon Gorsteich Gisha Havani sacking Edishin Ach ha Collis Kayu Nachalastoch Bulloch Ho Dully Savashin Ismunchen der Hai Shias Tras Hiedle Hashin Has the Feu Ed the manager in Kayu manager in Glasgow City if he Chinyamach agus Shin Gus Toshahug Etarna Le Hasho Hotel Sabiaking as a Hiedle Neskipian Havor Jishal Rachel Jishal Jachafeu Ed Grant Scott Fine Hunavinga Ege Colville Gavi Fine Cushion Irash Edal to Glasgow City. Agus Iatan Edochas na Triping na Shin Jiffer Eter Attain agus Rangers Agunuk Masuringaiv Shin Iano Edu Rangers Marai Saking Gita Le Corum Agol J. Vigant Koik Pingen at Hoshachik Mulach League agus Bictusúsin an nóir sin go bigad chavór jeiribte idáte an na Champions League na ban ach san Glasgow City bheit chum crás sa darna le Colville a fáinge ball ar a bhagus a chatraine si an leis Maddie Fulton si a hána géad it son Joe Love sa hiad le cruúcha choramile a cha ball isteach i ríiste chin far cas Nicola Doherty agus chadeach le Glasgow City a siad ide brogan héim a ha go ein amach iad or a farke. A ball suas go Jane Ross i ríist Jane Ross cumál creim i a bhal chadeach áireach sa bí i dhéanú ag léúne díoch an nún áireach mar Kings mar a thuairsmi Joe Love dal sias le glún go mac or tuaí cartfuí an chará héin tollite chará bulach a réitere tollite go féimig le réon Watson a cartfuí a thir seachad ach sin rialtain mar a hád. Héimeha le ball isteach ball ísal i de scópa gur fallaf McLaughlin go ein agus nó go well an ball ar bhil amach well an Rangers a génta le gúna leis réitir a Riley a si cúmal amach ciú gorá a ball has ar a fárgach chorá sin well sé Cúnug is an bhí the glacha go coolú leine tían sinna fáca Lee Alexander leis gorum I skippe eich go glósad suas a farc. I ríist san if Haley Lauder bheit Lee Alexander a gamas a sin a ríist Glasgow City the ball a thir seachad ball ar airs the nist agus bheit a fiaching rí Jane Ross a Lorach a siad chadeach a cross a ball line agus sin a fácail grán ag Riley an ball i dár a farc suas Davidson le ball seachad i the Olain ach sé vansatha go chud amach. Pauline, both sides again not quite settled into the second half, much like the first.
No, I think very frantic again, and I think both coaches really wanting their team to take a foothold in the game early in this second half. But yeah, I think it's going to take another maybe 5 or so minutes for things to maybe settle a little.
Is that a symptom of just how big today's game is in the grand scheme of things?
Yeah, I would agree 100%. I think, both managers, I think, stated in the earlier interviews that they want the 3 points from this today. I think from a Rangers perspective, it would give them fantastic daylight between themselves and the others. For Glasgow City, I think probably most importantly is that they don't lose this game today and at least take something from it.
Jane Ross Mahal, le Cheval Arst and a Lake Glasgow City. I find Shachat if Gish gonna look Gian Kumal a ball. I guess me Yedig Gamig Fulton Jich a ball for the Machad or the Farke. Doherty ke Skippelty ke Hatal Jack. I guess Norshin. Shin Jiroch Gorach for Clark at all the boxe. Hay the Lika Lizzie Arnott a shin. A Fakal Corum Scunyal ek Rangers. Great place to give away a free kick.
Yeah, it is, and I think, Jenna Clark, there's no need to do that there. She has the player facing away from goal, and just it's clumsy. And like we say, now Rangers have numerous players who have fantastic technical ability, and I would imagine one of them will take the shot on.
A full debate society going on here around the ball.
Definitely looks like something from the training pitch.
Arnott, Jay. Dynne dul é fiige náid chai trúrachge é fiige fargach a ball art Javi son shit eiching it is Lizzie Arnott Hullet in jelle right at fall off a heen Jack a good art shachat in the match at Arsen Arnott getal le Cheval a miana farke I guess Riest een bal uit de Ligaler fall off. Glasgow City of fiaching the Bekan Sochra who a horse at Cushion. Farley should let your ball so as a line. Harotini Haroche Sibi von a skipper, Kisha shit gets a ball line. Farley gyda leis y mian y ffac gyhorstio sgil sgonial fo Priscilla Chinchilla sin diolch yn ffain big anúne von a great skill in the middle of the pitch there from Chinchilla.
It definitely was, and you know that's why Glasgow City will be adamant that they need to try and get her more involved in this game today.
She's been so busy defensively, it kind of ruins that threat.
Yeah, I would absolutely agree.
Foley Maha, a fine Kugunig, at least reach it, I guess, Lauder, like your ball, bit of Daragich, Jenna Fife, Gahavalug, I guess, Kumal Grimid, Gaming Grim, a Humalid, Habestoche, a nerp, a screwy Riavaha, Haley Lauder, it could edit till Achai, Gilliard, because Statachudit. Good save there from Jenna Fife.
Yeah, listen, I think it was straight at her, but I think a warning for Rangers in that situation there, because they just switch off and Glasgow City are able to play the ball through, and it's definitely not who Jenna Fife would want to see lining a shot up against her.
Davidson Mahava, Lechora McRangers a sin ach Chanaegat a ball gu clichet er a ball mach man an van mach het dort na park ach mach het de varke getur a sin vo line of Rangers ach ball lakings volley ach de stach Davidson a fiaching bille in de ball of de stach an a boxe ach uele Nicola Doherty Captain Rangers Jocha Kumalchian in the line achke. Glasgow City Maha. Arst on the lead Rangers. Ball the ching is shach. I guess. Hashin Jirach is shach is Lav and Jenna 5. Lav and Saval Cheke. Gewege de zonnebal leek al muscul de shit I guess Gilliard Chimichael lodde ik zonnebal goed ik stach aan de lijn nach Eriest Rangers leek al bal fall off Dochert is Giano Ma a shin hele dikke bij Lauren Davidson de Giano na shot. Golden chance there for Lauren Davidson.
Yeah, it was. It's a slack moment in the middle of the park there for Rangers, and I think Nicola Doherty does very, very well to tuck back in and negatively influence Lauren Davidson's effort.
Ball artist Jack Dirris of Clark, Gascoop again Falov, Jack Kustro at the shin kita Molin Kachudishach van de line of Hool, Claire Walsh, Suicide Chinchilla Riesch, Castle Lewis, Skippel de Eichgesche. Oh, hij leek al McLaughlin is in McLaughlin in de vroeg is with the kasse coole vrouwk is in I guess hij de vroeg is ga je heen het wie kuttermach.
I think very evident there just how dangerous Chinchilla is, Kirsten Riley and McLaughlin doubling up in that kind of fullback area of the pitch.
No real malice in the challenge, but a sore one nonetheless.
No, definitely not.
Lee Alexander Maha Rasha Savuksa Eichgeheen She Chikli na Halape I guess Kumal Sulora ha manager na Halape I guess ha fiscal is in the caterer she Eichgeheen game and they Lungre Galape game ha could be Bio a shot at BBC Alape Riest. Oh Alfredo Morelos has the Kumal Sul with Cushion a shot Peters Hill Chanelach in the Chorum in the Viek Rangers Garika Shaw Chorum Vatrasi Hitley Lee Alexander could start it ach Ma Essen Eichking Teich a good Brish skipper a shin I guess Ballas Jack. Well Rangers are fine Boshan. Nice ball in from Doherty and at least getting the corner.
Yeah, it's good support play by Nicola Doherty there, and I think what she does is right. She's trying to get it in behind that Glasgow City backline nice and early for one of the Rangers attackers to try and step onto.
Arnott Mahal is Chevre Bosch and Ars the Stach and a Foska Cool Swabby Lish I guess a Stach Eke Fosta Cool Swabby Lish a Dell Till, wel, chwarae Corman iddi fi Rangers sydarna le hast, ach yn y chwarae y fachge had iddi gael. Till, hyle tu stoche, gybig Lee Alexander, it's on na piar y iano, y bal ysdiach arst, ysdiach yn y focse. Agus, hysyn ni faking swabby ik y ffost y chwl sio, le ciawn. Oh, agus y Till.
I think Lizzie Arnott's teammates are forgive her for that most recent free kick after that delivery. Absolutely fantastic, and Swabby just peels off, and I think from Lee Alexander's perspective, she maybe just sees it quite late there. Fantastic goal from a Rangers perspective.
Shin Maha, Chantel Swabby, Lishatil, Hakud Rangers, it Hoshach, Bekan Courage, Udu the Heach, Ishaw, Ik Peters Hill, Yakik Shin, Adson, Chavor, Jerevche, Marahai Sacking, the Arches, the Champions League, Tra has this season. Cúsin a sochgrach stoch in ish Lishatil a shin bifisic Rangers na game is ads in the Giano gus na 3 pingin shin na glé Rangers till it hoshach Glasgow City well biaten kientjoch gebiat de viaching urban a varach ein either till ek Jenna 5 gaan je more aan in the Jenna 5 ek janile. We see the goal again here, Pauline. Great ball in, as you said, at the back post.
Yeah,
should Lee Alexander keep coming there?
Maybe just to try and influence it a little bit, but I don't think you can take anything away from the delivery, you know, and that's Lizzie playing the ball in with her supposedly non-preferred foot there. But I think it was it last week as well, she actually scored from a corner. So yeah, fantastic ball, and you know, it's up to then one of our players to get on the end of it, as they have done.
Swabby Maha, the Rangers, Akel, Till, Hoshach, Hafiskil, Alfredo Morelos, Gamatology, Idora Farka, Hashin Gaiking, and Shisa with Bingi, Shin, Tor, Hornas Tology, Faking, Skipekis, and Till, Hoshach. Doherty, Riish, Fiach, and Jane Ross, Alorok, Ross, Fiach, and Kuchum, with either Cheekley, Lee Alexander, Agus, She. Doherty is in illegal. Doherty shin diolch illegal Fulton. Shin a faking at east. Diolch a ball dol shachat Lee Alexander shit Swabby gain can che fashgor a chavor ek a foster hul hafis nach Corchin Grant Scott. Ach, face gyfel cwysyn y cort o Malky Thompson as a Voxela. Malky Thompson will be over the moon now, just get things settled and go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely will, and I think, you know, these next few minutes it's really important in terms of, as we see Rangers continuing to try and put pressure on Glasgow City, but also managing the game effectively and trying to frustrate City at the same time.
Will Grant Scott look to make changes?
You know, quite possibly. It's nearing that 60 minutes, and you know, I don't think they've had much from open play at all, as we spoke about earlier. Maybe potentially see Fula Tadula come on. She had a fantastic game against Rangers back at that game at the training centre where they won 2-0 last year.
Ball shit for McLaughlin. Charo over Sabiak broken hey vi either Glasgow get Kulu Elena Gianach Va ach Rainy Ma Chile Garasha ball gach Bo Priscilla Chinchilla Ballard Suez Jenna 5 Etiano Gillior as a Voxe here or a Voxe ach charo Corum Sabi shit it
Just talking about Glasgow City potential substitutions, I probably should have mentioned Tyler Dodds as well, who's also had a very good start to the season and is very more than capable in a wide area of causing Rangers problems also.
Lauder Maha, Lecheval, Amian Avoxa. Gachod the Mach, go Orafarke, Foley, Gachod Suez. Foley, Gachod Suez. I guess Davidson, Shin Scaniel, if I'm Shachat, the Nicola Doherty, a ball is Jack. Chinchilla Chingish Foster Hool. Lovely play there from Davidson on the sideline.
Yeah, it's fantastic direct play by Lauren Davison, and that's something that she's done really well, you know, since joining Glasgow City, and why she now finds herself as a starting player. And, you know, granting the Glasgow City bench will be, you know, encouraging more of that from Lauren.
Smalach Isteach sin Foley Maha. Ach, ball the scope of it fall of the Rangers. Agus Malky Thompson, Caligal Isteach and a Vengi Achas and Hanna Cafax a be Edison a ball a horst. Erash Gu, Megan Foley, a hack ein, Tiroch Ek, Leoch Slia in the park, Fiaching the Lane Orange Lorak, Erius Lane Orange Haley, Lauder a high Fiaching the Lorak, Canel, Dol, Cushion Dol Lekata, Agus, an Ocean Midak, Gachodamach, in the other park, Erius. Rangers haven't stepped back at all here, Pauline. They've just kept the pressure on.
No, they definitely haven't, and I think that that's a really positive sign, and it's great to see that positive mindset. That's what got them ahead in the first place, and great to see that the Rangers bench are encouraging that.
We bring Glasgow City, Gary Paul, Tornas, Loy in the show. Foley, Le, Satal Isteach Isteach on a Voxa. Hanna Haturi Cormith Tunte, Foley Gang at Ashkata, Paul Arst. I guess it count, I guess two. Scaniel, Neve Farrelly, a bang it till the Glasgow City. Hashine fighting Hot Colleges a Hallow Tight, Hot Colleges a Haskip at Glasgow City. I guess at Erash Kuyanan. Pauline, it's exactly what Glasgow City need.
Yeah, but definitely is. But I think Rangers will be very frustrated. It's too easy for that ball to go into Eve for Caldwell, and then there's no pressure on the cross, and it's a fantastic header by Farley there, and, you know, well deserved and well done Glasgow City to get themselves back in this game.
Yeah, how foolish is it? How more Sebastian do skip at Glasgow City. Ball Scaniel Isteach for Foley. Ball Arst, I guess. Shin Fakal. It scored a draste till another Ek Peters Hill a show. Sport Hamalki Thompson in Cushion in Son Cushion Arach Brogan Hay a team Fartna Parke. I guess she McCoy a team is Stach in a game. Kayla McCoy. I guess he's in Jache and Nari Hisha Cushion the Rangers. Tell another Farley Marhoshin big and a so the Hije in the Glock. I guess Cushion Kuyinan Riist Ek Peters Hill. Junsi Hruig of a shin for Jane Ross. By Jannemach, Van Baal in a scoop of a fall of Arst. See Jane Ross just a little late there.
she was. Not like Jane.
Foley, so is Lauder. Ball, Fiaching is Ball, Scaniel Shin.
Good idea by Lauder there, but I just don't think maybe her and Lauren Davison are on the same wavelength in that situation.
We see the goal again. Great ball in, Pauline, and
it's fantastic.
Two in the box there.
To see Farley go up against two there, and she has quite a bit of work to do as well to kind of direct that also. But yeah, game on here.
Game on, Kajera, Tull another Poing another vegan, and Clearknick Cushion Marahat the Drast. I guess Kajera Glasgow City Tollachilish in a hat and it took a line. Oh, Chavork at the line of Hull Rangers Buchterish. Chavork at the line Glasgow City Buchterish Rangers Gamalishka Buchterish Hulish in a hat. They're all geskippelt the Suez Gucanil in the park and McCoy Lish. How you find big anunia, Fiaching it, Ballastjach, and do the Shahat Irihiachi. The Plychitter in Gian, Glasgow City. Glasgow City maha. Aten it yn sochra hwgystau y television. Aten it yn misnach y cwtioch yn balach o ddyr yrst. Ach, Jane Ross yn mian na parke. Gawgyd the Rangers. Charot che fasgore gys y bal o ddyr mach. Sin gyda ffacol yn corum. Eg Riley, Dol Suez. Gohorst ymach Gordon Parke. Gw McLaughlin. Y bal is dach. Oh! Hai y glachgu. Y cwlw y lein y gian. Arnett y sin. Gachod ysdiach. Ach, y glachgu. Y cwlw y lein y gian. Lovely ball in here, Pauline, but just too far ahead.
Yeah, I actually think that Kirsten Riley can play that ball much earlier to Rachel McLaughlin, which maybe then Lizzie can actually hold herself on side. So, yeah, maybe a bit of a frustrating moment from Rangers there.
Arahu Shaw, Colville a chain, yeah, full to Tulu a chain, as you said, Pauline, you called it.
Yeah, I think that she brings something very different for the two Rangers centre back to try and deal with, and that last game that they played against each other at the Rangers training centre, she was exceptional, and you know everything she did was hugely positive from a Glasgow City perspective.
That Arnott chance there will be a wake-up call though for Glasgow City.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think also a frustrating moment from a Rangers perspective, because I just don't know why Kirsten Riley doesn't release that ball earlier in that situation.
Arnott is altijd Girach. Jay gaat Putramach Sahai. Do skipper Rangers. Gaat door die deel. Ga voor nacht door die deel. Vashin Kitchera. Sonic Rangers a ha ball like a hold. Agus voor de Tublu. Maar hij is sacking. Oh, could him voor het lane a hold. Rangers, I guess, happy a ball line. Pauline, that'll get you into any game.
Yeah, absolutely. She has electric pace there, and you can see Demi Vance shaping up to try and play kind of over the right fullback of Glasgow City, but the pressure Filotadula puts on, and then even the desire to try and prevent the ball from going out the pitch also.
Shin Ahayi of Glasgow City Maha the sun the 3.9 Chanach Gilliard gyda toliche le fing mar a ha cúsin a drasta a chanel Rangers gyda toliche na se fing chachailing Malky Thompson a brosnach na cleiche ar an ecas yn fat na húni puchtig ar erst fiaching gris na 3.9 a sin aing hat it na corm na chruachig ach féimiad inist in gal Genra smaha fáing I ceann I the ballach tíach amach id or a fáca agus fácal cúsin na sochgriche do Glasgow City go chó. Fuatatudlu maha mian na park fáing a ball cleiche skynial sin amach gort na park svai gairi rash ach a deach a ball bulach le. High gang a durus I guess he could cat magorstach Haduri ach McCoy so is sin for who Rangers and Nacha click at the heen of I Lorak ach Foley gang ball a Girok so is I Lorak Lauder no Davidson Hajach a chi shinang Lauder gang skill erased for Lauder. The goal had settled things, Pauline, but it's now got frenetic again. Yeah,
it definitely has, and I think that maybe just on occasions they're Rangers losing a little bit of composure in those transitional moments and struggling to clear their lines, hence the second phase is coming back upon them. So, you know, I'm sure Malky and Kev Murphy will be trying to ensure that they stay focused and concentrated and disciplined in their individual and collective roles.
And from a Glasgow City point of view, Filotadula's already changed things.
Yeah, absolutely, and she looks like she wants to prove a point to the coach and the technical staff on the bench. She's came on and you know she's doing really good work for Glasgow City, both kind of coming short and looking to go long.
Big Grant Scott Toliche Mayera as he fing shin Doherty tag agachid son Rangers gachleich Arnott Hoogjes was in vakel nach Roy búlach far a bhí géirí san na ball ein ar ascatá sinna facail Coram ag fólaí cúis na hochcrach i ríiste go chúl to Glasgow City. Bicanúniteach cúis na hochcrach Graham ein al bhall agus a Grant Scott Tollite sin éichking. Ha Tolliteach in Jolas sin na chhlacha go chúl. Davidson bríise go éirst is teach an a bhoxa I shall let it ach Jenna 5 rish. Great run into the box there.
Yeah, I know, another great run by Lauren Davidson, and she's just very, very direct, and she's got such a long stride length that she kind of leaves players for dead there, but maybe needs to try and lift that one there, because I think the angle's definitely in favour of the goalkeeper.
Sonic Cheekley Maha Rangers a fiachani Maravat sa hiadley Tokal van a chool Bale Soos a farkata Tirach go Foley ach Rangers ga aing a rash and is McCoy gachod the math Doherty Captain Rangers is through it erst I guess it there is a Lizzie Arnott ga aing Charo Kuguna girish later later don na house Durishin or a voxe agus chinchilla a reist a chilling rash agus a good ball to Glasgow City rut rinny imitoch tourist running game Chanel and Connor Shachat geta Jane Ross could kuchum at line of Glasgow City Walsh gas go up a machku or a farke geta agus fiat the ball eyeing a rash we see chinchilla again working back and breaking things up.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I think all over the pitch there's a real desire to attack, but when their team loses possession of the ball as well, that same sort of passion is demonstrated, and it's fantastic to watch.
Ballisteach shit Tim Hall of Arkin for Rangers, Lee Alexander Gata Durishin Chot Saval Chisagas either vowel Glasgow City Gata Hursted Falav Haley Lauder a fiach and Rishang Rashach for corner Troborgi Doherty and Ish Click Ederst Rangers come on a ball Midak and me in the park and you then you Vidak Ra Kustro Hickes game at Fat Achashit Sanich give a in Yolas Jacobi Soch good I guess Gachlik Ederst go Riley Hatuth Riley a ball a good Chorus 3 harstal trunny game in Ish. Beacon the slugina. Fichit minute to the Ackle. Rangers no Glasgow City. 3 pingin a gutch. Game a voord a shot. Game a voord ille. A chin to skipping a halapa eiche heunje. Game a skipping and banne galpa 4 hungry. Cooping a crinje Davil is fichit 3 areen. Hashin a faking gevel. Capture. Gamalish manager na halapa idor a farke faking na hadolas a game a show I guess fiskibies and no tikin kilyo as Jay show photo to look at rich it's on Glasgow City Haley Lauder by fiaching they find there's kind of all in again photo to just brought that extra spark to the front line.
She has. She's a real thorn in Rangers' side at the moment. Just that tenacity and willingness to work as hard as she possibly can to positively impact the game.
Rangers maha gachlai o fi yn y parc ball a sgynnil a sin mach go canil in the park Jane Ross ga aing yn mian y vokse aper iwnsi a ting ysdiach a sin Jane Ross a sin fang a ball as a vokse big Kiri Jane Ross would have loved to get a shot away here, Polly.
Yeah, definitely. It's a great ball in by Chelsea Cornet, but incredible defending there. I think it's by Mullen.
Mullen of Allen, like Cass ysdiach Saval agus skipper ich shit Arnott in isje strid son of all ik gaan hoes gaan vaarke strik tjera doliter da kleiter is in agus me Erik Sonic Rangers of his all ik gaan hal Nicola Doherty going achse satal ysdiach of his on Danig Kunnert Sebi Evarach Shin de Glasgow City Arnott Gata Leish as an Osh and Rish Kunnert Gilorna Ishe the Val Hai Kaing Mach good Doherty Ball Scunnel is Jack Rish Jack Ga score up against fall off. McLaughlin Mahal Pican Unie Rangers Gal and Gorum Chleikadash van Leach Geheen van Chigli Yach Geheen Snorsen Temi Vanska Ein Kutje Morris Gata Davidson Garage Fultulu fying a ball Orevox if he gair in Australia haast an Gorum Eichke Hij son Ruttig in a Groeche gonna skippen Stoch a kus Unie de Val Noorshin Joch 400 kusse Jano as a Voxel truur for skippen Rangers Michael McCoy Jano Scunnelish in a ball of Humal. Great to keep the ball there, but not the ball forward that they'd want.
Yeah, there's just the decision. The decision is all wrong there. There's 3 players over the right-hand side of the pitch, and just the angle and the execution of the pass leads to transition in possession.
Arnott Maha for Vienna Farke, Gachuderash van a line Gianeke. Ball G doch theirs to shit Shachat Jane Ross Riest. I guess Riest Santro Jane Ross I have vote which can like the Rangers at all at last. Alfredo Morelos, we're sure Pauline will be wanting a Rangers winner. Do you see a winner coming in this?
Do you know what? The game has been played with such fantastic intent and intensity that both teams with such a strong desire not to be defeated and to try and obviously steal the next goal, which I think potentially would be the deciding goal of the game.
So neither team's going to just settle for a point.
It doesn't look like it so far.
Koik Minich and Jake big in this Luganishin. Idaka Arnott for Cormac Gestoche the Urbach the Jach of the Daraka Jachai the Mach. Go opne parke Mullen Scunnel Riech Shin Gachudemach ag sé satal is Jach of gan by Rangers is München Gordoch Gejé Mach is on Pre Boshan ach Chadua that Shin satal is Jach of an ach oh had the fying a Pre Boshan ag Gechan Hall by Glasgow City it's on well it's München could do that Val Chumal Jach. Another chance here for another Lizzie Arnott cross.
Yeah, and you know, again, another moment where Glasgow City must be switched on, you know, in terms of the delivery, how effective the delivery of Lizzie Arnott can be, making sure that they're matched up.
Ball, Artis, Jachari, Fost, you did it, ach, Lee Alexander, Elikal, I guess Shinefakal, Gelly Hain, if I got him, Lorraine Watson, the Rachere, Kagunik, Gajachisha, Likal, I guess, Nachro, Corum, Kaviak Rangers, a goal at Hoshach, Riest, Kenny Sana, Lewison, evacuation at all, yet and a high Hoshach, Achestation, Heel, Glasgow City, Fusion, Koyin, and Tel the Nude, Bacon Evarak, Ikchi, Minachin, Regal. Ball Riest de Rash de Rust gaan je gaing either Farke gus Bal Koshe Chleich eat Isolation had Doherty Gal and got him just tuned like a ball of Suez Jane Ross Puchtig as a goal experience there Pauline we would say.
Yeah, it definitely was. She knew exactly what was going to happen in that situation there.
Change coming here for Rangers. Westrup coming on. An interesting change to make at this stage in the game.
Yeah, I would maybe foresee that as being maybe a situation where they understand that Filatudulu is causing them a lot of problems in there. So I think we might see, is it either Swaby or maybe Van stepping into midfield just to try and protect that back line.
Westrup Pacini, I guess, Gilchas spot Nicola Doherty Chingano, guess. Chris Hapchin a Horsky Shin Chimichal is Brianna Westrup a ball a Shach Vans Giro Kustro Ate Alexander Kirsten Riley could start with Alexander I guess Yak Shin Nachro Coramagli Alexander the ball skippled for the Mach Jane Ross maha gain go Arnott ha McCoy the coolú a line of Jean a sin Frenesach is seo ag Peters Hill Dich minachin I ddacol sy game stoch a bacon a farach gyda sin agus bí sin inisht a fiachan Rish a tuil a gléas a game stoch is na dich minachin a farach Ball is steach a sin bo McCoy gyda Arnott is steach or a voxe agus Walsh a chile gydash u'r ille a safogluch a skip a eiche Hai chile gydash Great recovery there from Walsh.
Yeah, it was fantastic recovery, and I think maybe could Lizzie have taken that inside just a little bit earlier, but hey, listen, they have a set play to defend.
Ball arst is steach an a fosta chúli ríist Swabby a fiachan rish a ball line ach ha you find prep os an ille Jenna Clark i the valach of the mach Rangers le prep os an ille good pressure here from Rangers, Pauline.
Yeah, very good pressure from Rangers, and you know we know that with Lizzie's delivery that potentially anything can happen here. I think the important thing is that Glasgow City stay concentrated.
Ball is steach an a fosta ui Chadúr a seachad iad I té ag fosta ui gitá Foley could start it. It's a ball arst is steach a ríis a chin go Lee Alexander agus sávalte is it Lee Alexander deocha sochgruchu cúisint an a skip eiche. Ball at Erst maha bo Glasgow City Eke Hool chuid Westrup Ike agus han Ike ball far full to Dudley agus sin facal nach dúirí na bhaid géri isi géri prepáisian ach sonic jenna faifathe brep agus ball a tingamach a ríist for Rangers. Ard suas a farca charo chécatá fascid sin for Rangers. Jane Ross ga aine mian na parca catá a ríist. Chanil ché fascid de Glasgow City a is. Ball at Erst vo Glasgow City full of tudlu fiaching it is how you in fianache tinchia nish chaniliad more an yano ching at Erst it's chanil chief in it fiaskan a farke Glasgow City it thirst corum ye eat it by head magoorstora charo corum eiche shian a yano lishaval full tudlu gata gain Chuderash gan a leach geheen ganta Glasgow City a fiscal Grant Scott Kiri Kabira dollar Earth Hanan Rash Nicola Doherty a fine ball high watch it shin if or a fat Gascope get fall off Demi Vance fiaching the Chumalistach ach stay scunyal for Nicola Doherty Hajach Vance Chumalistach Marshin Hadjach Cushion Dol Jach Sochger I Riestic Peters Hill Jane Ross Gain Le Cown go Arnott Maha at Ashka Midak Ball a Scunyal a Mach Ma McLaughlin Fine Ith Cown of Allah Shin Ach Riest Ha Shin Faking Mullen Riest Joche Fine a ball a Mach Sochger Savach ek a goed hij de sochger Savach ek a goed tronigem met fat de Glasgow City ha fiscal Grant Scott kematology le maar a heisje het play Alexander Maha ga score op arst gemeen na parke Westrup gas le Cown ach a chile gerash kuchim riist eith lein a Rangers kuchim kitera haun le chinchia agus full to Dudlu e fiaching dri
think you just see the fear in the Rangers backline, don't you, now that Fulatadulu's on, and they're just a little bit unsure now of playing the ball back in to Jenna Fife, because they're not quite sure what shoulder she's on.
Operva sin idir Fulatadulu agus Priscilla Chinchilla sin ball gata rash ag Glasgow City as a leach gehin had fang suas a far clicva a chanel te fang isteach ganevok agus chanel te fang na Corman sin. Just not managing to get forward there, Pauline. Nice play, keeping the ball, but no chance at the end of it.
Yeah, no chance at the end of it, and you know, potentially the intensity that this game's been played at today, you know, can we fault them for maybe losing a little bit of energy in these kind of latter 4 or 5 minutes of the game. Both teams again probably just really wanting to be cagey and maybe not commit as many numbers forward.
Hanya G Spienig Gita Inish Ick Davidson a ball in the school get fall voorpig. Has in faking Fulatadulu could Kuchum, Aid West or Beckelhool the Rangers. No lack of energy there.
No, definitely no lack of energy. And you know, it's interesting because last week when she came on in a wide area for Glasgow City, but I absolutely think that she's so much more effective as that 9.
The ball is Jack Chinchilla Ein she Westrop a score for fall of a Yola Seiche Shake who Kutramach as you seen is Jack and a minute in Mejeriga show Peters Hill. Fulatadulu Ein get I thought of Oxe. Ball at Erst. Corum. Gee, look, Shafad hit a first shin. Fulton. But Corum Scunnell of a shin. Fife wasn't comfortable at all there.
No, she definitely wasn't, and it would be interesting to see from behind the goal, you know, just how close that was. But we spoke about it earlier when Mary Fulton came on to replace. Oh, Joe Love, that she definitely had that in a locker.
Herb Scunnell for Fulton Ishin Docherty Le Cheval and Ish Id Orifake. Farley the Legal in me and the Parke got click in Erst Le Priscilla Chinchilla Fulatadulu Fia and Kujum with Westrop Ach had Jenna Fife got with Emach in Orifake. Pauline, we're into the last few minutes. Who's your player of the match?
Listen, there's been you know, quite a few contenders on both sides. I think the intensity of the game that been played at and just the desire to do the best that they can for their team. But you know, for me today, I think, you know, Julia Mullen's been excellent. I think some fantastic key defending moments for her. She's kept great concentration, and you know, without the interception there to Jane Ross, it could have been 2-1 Rangers this afternoon.
Be Rangers agus Glasgow City is 3 Sofiaching gus gake hun a horsted cushion ikke Janhal ikke Niris ikke ta has kujun an tel and nure Brianna Westrop geta fang and got him a ball score up sur sefat gus korum horst gonna skip a ich cushion. Vance Maha could kuchum if Lena Hool Glasgow City. Nicola Doherty Gaang is on Zadalisjach. Rangers if Fiaching, Ricorum Mejeriga Kruchug, McCoy Gaang, Achenbal, it's score up or get Falav. Westrop, Idhurst, Vance Gairi, Vance Gaang, oh, by Giroch and Mach. A ieder vaart van bal Giroch de golf Shachat in de lijne Korm Ishin Ek Rangers ach Hajach Lea Iche. Da Vinach Idakal. Well, Bacon is da Vinach. na chicken meirig gan Úne Avisteach a seo Davin at Varach a Chin loch taike fiach Henry Glasgow City of Rosnach gus a tull agus na 3 pingin a gutch ag jirig a game. Hadúid Che for Glasgow City iddo bhal gata. Hadúid Che for Glasgow City iddo bhal gata. Agus Arnott a fine a ball go skippelta. Yolas Lizzie Arnott a sin. McLaughlin, Cachal, Priscilla Chinchilla, a fine in Corum. I find Taich, Geluch Taich, well, the Vorkuch Q, a show at Peter's Hill, a Haluch Taich, Alfredo Morelos, Nemesk, Egg Rangers, a show, Demi Vance, and Son Adson, of Maltoliche, I score Bugaval, Suez, Goharst. A ball is Jachanist for Orevoxe, a Chania Mark Vance, Corum a show, Corum McJane Ross. I guess Lee Alexander Gastad Shin Stoche Corum in game show. A gutch na 3 pingin ag jirig a game. Chajach le gata. In East Glasgow City, if he can is a ball a score but get follow Westrup going and follow like Kion Agus Vance in East. Well, that could have made she Stoche. Very important save at the end there, Polly.
Yeah, absolutely was. Incredible pressure that Glasgow City have just withstood there. But, you know, it just shows you, and I think it's fantastic that at these latter stages of the game, both teams want to do everything in their power to not lose the game, but also to try and win the 3 points as well.
As in the channel 3 jirig game, Lee Alexander, Caillou Ping, Igleig, Ishin, gonna skip a hurling, sir, Caillou. Agus sin Lorraine Watson a could jirig the game till another at the Rangers agus Glasgow City ping another a here till ag Chantel Swaby le Kion agus an Norsen Farley fine until the Glasgow City. Ball Art is Jack gonna force the cool Swaby Lekion Gain Shachat Ed Lee Alexander Shin Rangers in Hoshach Achanorsin Glasgow City a fine in Ashen Shin faking Giro Hokutramach Sebastian the Farley Agus to Glasgow City. Pauline ended up such a frenetic game. Both sides finished with a point. Who'll be happiest?
I think in terms of the way that Rangers dominated possession of the ball, I think Glasgow City will be the happiest, and, you know, given the result earlier on today as well. But I think, you know, credit to both sides. It was a fantastic game. Maybe lacked a little bit of composure because of the intensity that both teams tried to play with. But I think a real spectacle for the girls and women's game today.
Game Giroch Scaniel and a game na Banhish and faking Joe Lyle Breen Rina Karajaneke Vonikanele. We see here Pauline the table. We end up Rangers stay at top, Glasgow move back into second place, and everything to play for still.
Yeah, everything to play for, and that's what we like. Keep it competitive as long as we can. I think it really improves the product. But yeah, a thoroughly enjoyable game. I think maybe for the neutral today, more so for the Rangers or the Glasgow City fans. But I think maybe the only disappointment was to see, you know, Joe Love having to leave the game as early as she did from a Glasgow City perspective.
Joe Love is het hasje faking torst tank dan klichtern bogach skippe maar hang kuchach te falling it's on vi gamchomal kjarst tron again with you nie farley as in faking is in she who ping the Glasgow City is shaw ach barach balkoshe rihin ed BBC alape as ejachkan rihin hashin guvi Eiche Heunje le game Alapa en Nungut hashin kuchach le Operein en Hibs shin Jesarnje sonorshin Alapa Iriest en doen shin ching de Marsh se ching chiao la harichet ach Draste a game a chink count game va oversach frennesach bishin faking jecho frennesach sa ha kushin salape if you can recoup in a crinje reen as a game gutramach a hashin eiche heunje bimihin erash kolverev eiche heunje in sunshin is BBC alape draste geta pungenure a chin fall of Peters Hill a daskip mianach toliche le kushin Rangers a furach ag bara leave as in Glasgow City Toliche Galatin hast as a darna acha.